How do 21st century literacies impact adolescents in their social worlds? And how can we use these literacies when teaching science? But before we can really answer these questions, what does 21st century literacies mean anyway? To begin with, what is literacy? According to the Encyclopaedia Britannica, literacy is the capacity to communicate using inscribed, printed, or electronic signs or symbols for representing language. That said, there are many forms of literacy in the 21st century, with the top 10 literacies in education today including digital, media, visual, data, game, health and financial, civic and ethical, news, coding and computational, and foundational. And according to Peter, literacy in the 21st century demands the ability to move confidently, efficiently, and ethically between a wide range of written and visual, print, live, digital, or electronic text types according to purpose. So what do these text types look like? They include all those things we see in our everyday lives, from emails, texts, YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, websites, and of course books and newspapers, just to name a few. Which brings us to our initial question: how do 21st century literacies impact adolescents in their social world? Teenagers are, not surprisingly, some of the biggest users of social media. 9 in 10 Aussie teens now have a mobile phone. In 2009, 73% of teenagers used social networking sites, an increase from 55% 3 years prior. 71% of teens say they use more than one social media site, with Facebook, Instagram and Snapchat being the most popular. 57% of teenagers have made new friends online. 86% use YouTube, 73% use Facebook, 44% access Instagram, Pinterest, Twitter and Tumblr, 75% text, with teenagers on average sending 60 texts per day. 64% of teenagers use email, but only 6% use it daily. Instead, daily interactions take place via social media, instant messaging, messaging apps such as WhatsApp and Kik, and video chat. I think it's fair to say technology plays a big part in a teenager's social world. As a result, teenagers are growing up in a different world to the one their teachers grew up in, resulting in digital natives as opposed to their digital immigrant teachers. Teenagers are accustomed to a continuous flow of data, generally multitasking between various sites. They don't want the old-style step-by-step instructions. They thrive in a fast-paced multitasking environment. They complain they have to power down to go to school. This can't be good. Surely education needs to meet the needs of the students, not the students meet the needs of the education. Which brings us to the second half of our initial question. How can we incorporate 21st century literacies into our teaching and learning practices within the science classroom? The 3 R's, reading, writing and arithmetic, are no longer deemed enough for today's education. Although still important, students also need to master the 4 C's: creativity, critical thinking, communication, and collaboration. In science, we're often conducting experiments and trying things out firsthand in an attempt to really understand what's going on. These generally involve measuring and recording our results. What better way to do this than with MBLs, or microcomputer-based labs, or probe work? A study done by Metcalf, they found that students were able to visualise their learning in a way that increased understanding and helped dispel misconceptions. This was due to the students actually experiencing firsthand the correlation between event and modelling. Plus, some MBLs have inbuilt Wi-Fi to allow for live data sharing and collaboration via any device with a browser. Old-fashioned pen and paper are fine, but programs such as Google Docs allow for easy communication and collaboration with group members outside of school hours if necessary. Plus, the information is available from any device and allows live collaboration with numerous students in varying locations. 49% of teens have uploaded a video to YouTube, with 18.5% watching primarily to learn a new skill or be educated. So why not use this love of YouTube and videos in the classroom? Not just accessing it as a source for learning new skills, but to make our own podcasts and videos. If we don't want to be so public, perhaps use a program such as VoiceThread. 90% of teens use Google Search. Not only could they complete web quests teachers have made, but they could create their own web quests, researching something they feel passionately about and creating a student-centered environment. This has been shown to increase student curiosity so that they seek information for themselves, motivating them to learn and also learning skills for life. 52% of teens spend time with their friends playing video games. So why not bring video games and simulations into the class? Not only do games and simulations provide students with fun and interest in the classroom, but they've also been shown to assist in students' retention of class material. Plus, simulations, both physical and iterative, allow students to explore certain effects they otherwise would not be able to explore. We can't very well play with uranium in the chemistry lab, can we? Or drive various vehicles along dangerous road conditions to experiment with friction and how far we can slide down the icy road. Then, of course, there are quiz games. Quizzes ask students to reflect on what was learnt, allowing better content retention. Holes in knowledge are found and students are able to monitor their own improvement. Blogging also improves student learning through reflection, plus through application of material and engagement with other students. STEM professionals becoming a regular fixture in the science classroom is highly favourable. In many rural settings, however, a STEM professional may not be available to visit the class regularly. As modern students are very comfortable interacting via FaceTime-style communications, why not Skype or FaceTime a STEM professional? Whilst we're at it, why not Skype or FaceTime another class in another location to share and learn from? This opens the door to limitless resources and opportunities. The flipped classroom approach is also an option for our tech-savvy students. In a flipped classroom environment, students are able to work at their own pace, with this environment believed to increase student motivation, engagement, results, and student creativity. Plus, the student is able to explore areas they may otherwise be too embarrassed to admit not knowing, whilst in the privacy of their own home. Finally, communication between the teachers and students. Texting seems to be the way to go. 86% of students reported that text messages prompted them to complete a task. 85% reported that the text message informed them about something they hadn't realised they needed to do. So in conclusion, let's embrace these 21st century literacies and use them to everyone's advantage. They may be daunting to some teachers and even some students, but they're not going away, and the majority of our students are already operating in these spaces. Let's stop asking our students to power down when they come to school and instead power up. Embrace a global community of resources that we can both share and learn from. Let's offer our students a more authentic environment to work in where they thrive and grow. Let's break free from old methods that no longer serve our new students, and together, teacher and student move forward toward an exciting future.